Welcome back to the reboot for pour number 2. I'm back digging this compacted gravel. Moving this gravel is the least favorite of my chores to date. However, for later in this video, I have a secret weapon. It also becomes the source of my biggest fail. Stay tuned and enjoy the video. Hi everyone, the first strip of concrete has been poured. It's dried overnight. It's cured overnight. It has that swept, broomed finish to it. Believe me, it's very swept. I like it, but you know what? I think I'm going to keep the rest of the pad finished to a smoother finish. I'm just going to bowl float it and leave it at that. My daughter and I looked at this after we'd completed it yesterday. And I think we came to the conclusion, wow, this is good. It's done to the finishing style that we intended to. I think we both liked the smoother finish prior to brooming it out. Anyways, the big task right now is to start to remove some of these forms. I do not need to remove all of them. I'm going to be forming up the next 8 feet strip along here. So I need to take off the front, the end, and these side forms here. So let's get cracking. These form boards lengthwise here could be easier or a little trickier to get out because, and you can see that down there by the toe of my running shoe. And yes, I'm wearing running shoes for this exercise today. I'm not out here with any heavy equipment, so I don't have my safety boots on. But these may prove a little challenging in terms of the form boards because those are now secured in the new pad and we've got to pull the form boards off. So let's see how I get on with that. No. Being a novice to this entire process, I'm doing things like constantly checking my level. And this 8-foot 1x1 that I'm putting down here right now, this is a little storyboard that I've created. I put it up against the edge of the concrete pad, and then you're going to see me mark it at the other end. That is where I'm going to start to attach the first form board. But I'm also going to use this storyboard to ensure that the form boards are parallel to the edge of the concrete all the way down. I'll use it several times to check the width, and it will remain exact as I move down the forms. And back to what seems to be incessant digging in this gravel. These ditches are essential. It allows me to get these form boards to the proper depth and height so that the pad remains level. But let me tell you, these breaks that I'm taking are essential. Digging in this gravel is extremely hard work.
Doing okay, Blue?
And as I explained in the previous video, I install these pins about every 6 to 8 feet to ensure that the side forms are not going to fall over under the weight or due to the weight of the concrete mix. Hey everybody, we're out here a following day working on getting the second strip ready for pour in the concrete slab. The person you see moving around in the background, this time it's my son, and just like my daughter, he doesn't want his name in the videos. But like I said, you'll see him moving around and working with me to get this second strip in the floor, the concrete pad, for the building poured. So here is the second strip all ready to go. It's framed up, as you can see. The frames have been staked down the side with rebar, as you can see there. The far side over here is up against the concrete that's already been poured. We have an expansion gasket in place ready to go. We've got the new, that's got to be retaped. We've got the vapor barrier in place, and we've got it taped, except for there's a strip here that's missing the tape. And as you can see, the vapor barrier is in place. So we're all ready to go. We're just waiting on the arrival of the concrete truck. And the other thing we're going to try today is to use this power screed machine here. It is a lot of work to hand screed, to use something like a straight 2x4 to screed that length of concrete. I know people do it all the time. I am not someone that works in concrete 5 days a week, every day of the month, so I'm not really in shape for it. So like I said, we're going to try this power screed machine here and see how it works. My son and I are seen here having a quick little discussion with the operator to review our game plan. We've got some ideas of what we want to do, and we just want to ensure we're all going to start off on the same foot. Now with the pour underway here, I have to say that we did not learn one of the valuable lessons from the first pour, and that is to ensure that the concrete mix is wet enough. There is a quick discussion with the operator about the thickness or the wetness of the mix. We ask for a little bit more water, he puts it in, but we should have kept asking for it to be diluted just a little bit more to make it easier to work and move around. As a two-person crew, we struggled with this concrete mix all day long, or for the 2 hours that we worked it, and it should have been avoided. I should have been a little bit smarter.
Okay. Saw bit here. All right. Now we need to get more back. Okay. Okay, Jim, do you want to put that in the water for me? I'm going to flip it over to you, catch.
Because we have the gas-powered Screed, we decided to put in a little bit more concrete than I did with my daughter on the previous pour. My daughter and I would put about, I don't know, it was anywhere between 4 to 8 feet, then Screed, then get some more concrete poured. Because we had this machine, again, we decided to go a little bit longer. but now you're going to see us using the power screed, and you can see how successful we are, or how successful I am in using it. Being an exceptionally inexperienced operator with this tool, it probably was not the best idea. I mean, the first thing that I would have a question about was just the edges of the power screed board riding up on the forms as a guide on one side, and then the cured concrete on the other side. I've asked several people, I've looked at some videos. It seemed to be an okay way to do it. I'm not convinced that it was, because I've seen other videos on YouTube where the power screeds are essentially floating on the concrete mix that they're smoothing down or screeding. The video doesn't do justice to the challenges I was having with the machine. Yes, it's just the first 10 feet with the machine, but we could already tell, for example, the concrete that we had screeded was essentially sitting up about an inch above the level of the form boards and the form concrete on the far side, opposite the form board, sorry. Even with the helpful guidance and tips from the concrete truck operator, it was still a challenge to use, and as you can see here, I start going over the sections that I've screeded in an effort to try to get the level of concrete mix to the correct height. It quickly became equally challenging, if not more challenging, to use the power screed machine. And it went from bad to worse when, just there, I had to stop the machine because several bolts on the connector to the plate broke. They sheared off. We just took the machine out, set it aside, and the operator, as you're going to see here, was nice enough to wash it off after we got it out of the concrete mix. And at the end of the day, when I returned the machine to the rental store, they took a look at it and didn't charge me for the use of the machine for the day. They apologized for the condition of the machine and the fact that the bolt sheared off. So all in all, the experience with the power screed was not successful. We went back to using the 2x4, the straight edge, the long straight edge, as our tool for screeding the concrete. And again, just a lot of hard work and a lot of extra time. And we're starting to get to the point here where this concrete mix, because it's not very wet, is starting to get hard to work. So we're getting a little bit frantic. I'm getting a little bit frantic that I'm taking a little bit too much time and this stuff is starting to set. And here's a look at the third challenge that we had with this pour. Not only was the mixture heavy, it wasn't very wet, and not only did the power screed machine not work very well, or the other side of that coin is that I did not know how to use that power screed, but there was also a mix-up at the rental company where the bowl float was double booked. So I ended up making my own bowl float out of some wood. Not ideal, but at the end of the day, I would have to say this was successful. When I look at the various events of the day, this wooden bowl float ended up working okay. It wasn't ideal, but it worked okay. As I wind up this video, the key lesson learned here, and for anybody who's getting ready to try this, when you're working with such a small crew, when you're doing it DIY like this, Make sure to request that the mixture is as wet as possible. Believe me, it will make your life a lot easier, and it won't dry up and start to firm up on you as you try to work it. We work like dogs to get this stuff smooth. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.